in your image, what you wanted. Take you through the whole process, I guess, since day one as coach at Boston College.
Well, I mean, I think, coming in, really wanted to make sure that, we established, real toughness in our program. And mental and physical toughness. That was number one. Number two, really want to establish accountability. Accountability for your teammate on your right and on your left. A situation where you won't let your teammate down. Because the belief is that an edge that we need to have at Boston College, we need to be a team. You need and to be a team, there's a lot of great players, but are there a lot of great teams? How do you be a great team? The fundamentals of being a great team are being accountable to each other, holding each other accountable, and leadership, and leaders not being afraid to challenge guys, and not worried about being the most liked, but being the most respected. So those were the fundamentals coming in that we felt were really, really important. And so now the process of how do you do that, and that starts in the winter program and obviously in spring ball. And I think then the involvement of our staff within our players' lives, because the simple phrase I used when I was a high school coach in Connecticut was, you got to coach them really hard, you got to challenge them really hard, and then you got to love them. And they got to know that you care about them. And that's fundamental. And I think when you do that, people will open their heart to you and give you everything they have, So it's not just a one piece of, hey, let's be as tough as we can be. Yeah, let's be tough, but let's make sure they know we care about them.
Did you get the sense you were getting everything they had during the spring practices?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, people said, what was the biggest surprise? Maybe that's the wrong choice of word, surprise, but the buy-in factor by our kids. I think we have great kids in our program. They're high character. They really want to be good. They've got great work ethic. And I really felt that, I just enjoy being with them every day. They're the kind of guys you enjoy being with. In fact, I had the 4th and 5th year seniors over in my house, and they, the interaction with my family, my wife is phenomenal. These are just great student athletes, So I really love that piece of it. We don't chase our guys around to go to school. They understand the value of getting a great degree and the value of education, and that's really cool. So we have a chance to coach, highly motivated student athletes, and that's been a lot of fun.
Dan Tortora, DTB Media, and Coach, last season you went into the Big East with Temple. Now you're here in the ACC with Boston College. What are the similarities and the differences that you've experienced in these last 2 seasons?
Well, I mean, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. I mean, obviously we came off a great first year at Temple and won the first bowl game in 30-something years, And then all of a sudden, with a couple months' notice, we were in the Big East, and which was great, for our program there, but we didn't have a chance really to recruit to that. And we were able to come out and get a couple of conference wins, which was exciting when no one thought we could get any. But, I come into Boston College right now, and we've got a proud tradition here. It was 2 years ago that we came off 12 consecutive bowl games, 8 consecutive wins, 4 first-round draft picks during that period of time, the offensive NFL Player of the Year, and the defensive Rookie of the Year. So there's a great tradition, but yet, we've had 2 down years, and we need to rebuild this thing up. So coming in for me now, here's another new conference. The good news in that new conference, though, is I am familiar with some of the opponents, and I have a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator that are familiar with the opponents, and so that helps. And here we are. We're in the middle of recruit, rebuilding our talent pool at our program. So, there are challenges, but at least we have coaches and our players are familiar with the conference. And I have some, haven't been at Florida against Florida State, haven't played Syracuse and Pittsburgh and Louisville when they come in, and Notre Dame, haven't been in Notre Dame, so I have some familiarity. Hope I answered that for you.
Hey, Coach, Mark Larson, White, and Syracuse saw you out in Newport last year, and here we are down here. Tell me about, we talked about Syracuse last year, and obviously you're a former assistant there, and you expressed a lot of love for it. Now you're going to be on the other side of the Syracuse-BC rivalry.
Right.
How strange is that going to be for you?
That's great. I mean, hey, listen, I've got a lot of respect for Syracuse, and as you said, I had a great 4 years there, and I really loved the place. And but you're right. I mean, I was on the other side of this thing. That was an intense rivalry when we prepared at Syracuse to play Boston College. And it will be an intense rivalry when Boston College prepares to play Syracuse. And that's what makes college football great, these geographical tie-ins like this and the alumni bases that are in Boston, in Syracuse, in New York. So I'm really excited about it, and I think it'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun and a lot of fan interest.
Hi, Coach. Bob Halliday. Welcome to the league.
Thanks.
Last year, Boston College had a disparity of 161 plays versus its opponents. Obviously, something you want to try to correct. How do you go about, balancing the opportunities on a line of scrimmage like that?
Well, I think first off, we need to get off the field on defense, and then obviously on offense, we need to sustain some drives. So that's, that's where we're at. We were a young defense last year, and on offense, we were a heavy throw offense. So, there's strikes in there, but there's a lot of 3 and outs on the other side of the ball. People can sustain drives, so that leads to those kinds of statistics. Defensively, I hired Don Brown to be the defensive coordinator, and Donnie, I just love his mentality, his attitude, his attack style defense. So that's a complete philosophical change, and we'll be a completely different group on defense. We're going to be very, very aggressive. And on offense, we're going to, make sure that we have a run game to match the throw game, and so that we can have more balance in our offense and have some ability to sustain drives. And then just create a demeanor on our team, a tough demeanor. I think, the saying is, can you get a yard? I mean, it's just a yard. Go get a yard. We need to be able to make sure we go get that yard, and that's a big focus.
Coach, on the other side of the ball, the offense, Chase Reddick has seen a lot of offensive coordinators. That can't be easy on any quarterback. How is he handling the new system that you have for him?
I mean, I think great. I mean, I just think that, football plays are football plays. I've said that throughout the day today. Terminology is really what's different sometimes. And he's a really bright guy. So, I mean, that's not a challenge for him. It's picking up terminology and things like that. So I don't think that's been a struggle. And I just think that, if you painted a perfect picture, would you paint him to have 4 or 5 offensive coordinators? No, you wouldn't. But in the same breath, that's the way it is. Deal with it. Move on. Let's go. I mean, that's a sign of a great player and a great quarterback. Don't worry about things you can't control. Just get it done, And I think he's got that mindset and that attitude. I love him. I think he's been a guy that he wants to lead this team. And the thing I love about him is, he obviously has personal goals, but the most important thing to him is that Boston College, we want to get bowl eligible at Boston College, and it's a real team mindset. You can't fake that, and he's got it. So I think he's set with his preparation, his experience to have himself a good football year, in his senior year, and I want that for him.
Hey, Steve, Jim Connors from News 14 Carolina and Time Warner Cable. You mentioned your past at Syracuse, but I look at that schedule of yours and I see a lot of North Carolina flavor with Wake Forest, North Carolina, and NC State. I'm wondering what familiarity you have with those programs and what you're expecting from those matchups.
Well, I mean, I don't have great familiarity with those programs, and I know they're really good programs, and I know the coaches are outstanding, and I know there'll be real challenges for us. And hey, we open up the ACC season with Wake Forest at our place, and that's going to be a real exciting matchup game, and and we're looking forward to that challenge. And every week, I mean, we're up against it. We go from Wake Forest and we head right out and play USC. So I mean, out there. So that's what's great about being in the conference. We're challenged in the conference, we're challenged out of the conference, and every Saturday just brings a real level of excitement. And that's, I think, that really drives the kids and the coaches, and so we're looking forward to it.
Coach, I think you made an interesting move. You named yourself recruiting coordinator. Why did you decide to make that decision, and what has that meant for you guys recruiting-wise?
It starts with the head football coach in recruiting. And I've got to drive it every single day. Okay, and I made a commitment. I've always loved recruiting in my career, but I made a commitment when I came here. We got to recruit, keep recruiting, and recruit. And I got a demand from the staff every single day. I start every day with a 7 o'clock staff meeting. We talk about recruiting. I hold everybody accountable for it. I hold them accountable for what's going on with their recruits, for new and energizing ideas, and we challenge each other. We've challenged, I was not a big social media guy, and I just decided everything's on the table here. I mean, we're in a situation where I got to push myself if I expect everyone else to push themselves. So I'm going in new and different territories, and we've had a bunch of fun with, challenging who's got more followers, and just embracing that. And I think it's a mindset. And if the head coach doesn't have that and doesn't drive that, my experience is football coaches, you want to go out, you want to game plan, you want to talk about third down, you want to talk about this, you want to talk about that. Most guys aren't saying, hey, I can't wait to talk about recruiting. So I think, you got to make sure that recruiting's happening at a fever pace every single day. That's where it's at. And I think the success rate is relative to the output, and that better start with me. And so that's my charge. And so I decided, well, I will come in every day, and I will challenge myself and everybody else every day. I'm sure they get tired of me.
Speaking of recruiting and social media, there's a hashtag you guys have gotten going.
Yeah.
Talk about be a dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, Don Brown, our defense coordinator, he's a funny guy. And so his big thing, throughout the spring is, be a dude, be a dude. You can hear him in his, Worcester accent. And so, one day I said to him, I go, Don, what does that mean, be a dude? He says, Coach, you got to be a baller. You got to be great. You got to be a baller. I said, I love that. So that just that's what it is now. It caught on in recruiting. It caught on with our staff. And, now the media guys are asking, what does it take for us to be a dude? I said, I don't know, that's a high bar, man. I mean, we got to wait and see, I told him, I said, Joe Tessitore's a BC guy. That's a dude. So we threw that out there a little bit ago, but it's been fun. And I think, I don't know what it is about that little phrase, but it kind of grabs you, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I'm a Southern California guy, so I thought be a dude was like hang out, be mellow, like surf or something.
It's the
but
antithesis.
It's the exact opposite.
You got that. That's exactly right. That's what we do not want. We want those high motor, go get it dudes. Yeah. We don't want to go surfing.
You've persuaded me. I'm on board with the other interpretation now.
You like it?
I'm a big fan of being.
Love it or like it?
Love it.
Great.
Am I a dude now?
Not yet.
Can girls be dudes? Could we be a dude if we're tough and go-getters?
Can girls?
Holly, you are a dude.
Awesome. I think that's a great way to finish. Thank you, Steve Addazio. Good luck.